fact that you called somebody to get rid of the evidence, that's appalling to the court.
Forgive me for taking your son, your daughter, your mother, and father me. After the accident, I asked God why I lived and didn't die. It probably would have been better if I had died. I had not only destroyed someone else's family, but I also destroyed mine, my wife, my two small children's life. And I hated myself. I was ashamed. But I also knew that I had to be strong not only for my wife and kids, but also for those who have known me, despite what I have become. I'm a forever changed man. I will never understand why this had to happen. I have learned not to question God, but simply accept this part of my life, a part of my life that has been some of the darkest days. I am a husband, a father, and a father of an 8-year-old.
What happens when a former Marine, driving nearly double the speed limit in a government-issued vehicle, crashes into another car, kills 2 people, and then allegedly calls someone to remove alcohol from the scene before police arrive? In today's courtroom breakdown, emotions run high as the defendant pleads for mercy, talks about his family, his faith, and the guilt that's haunted him for years. But the judge isn't just focused on remorse. She's focused on the decisions made after the crash. Did his actions show genuine regret or an attempt to cover his tracks? Stay tuned, because this sentencing hearing takes a dramatic turn when the court details exactly why the aggravating factors outweighed the sympathy in this devastating DUI-related homicide case.
A boy named Jacob and a 3-year-old little girl named Alea. My wife is expecting our 3rd child and has been one of the greatest blessings throughout these last 2 years. My wife actually has never left my side. She still loves me and finds the strength to do life without me. Ashley and I live in 2 different states. I reside in Indiana and she resides in South Carolina. I could go on and on about how life isn't fair, how much pain I felt, how much money I have spent, and the loss of sleep that this has caused me, but I can't make excuses or even compare how unfair my life is. Your loss is greater than mine. Please forgive me. Your Honor, my home is not here in Indiana. My home is in Greenville, South Carolina. I ask that you please allow me to return home to my wife of 11 years and 2 young children. I know how hard life can be for young children growing up fatherless. I've lived that life. I did not have a father figure growing up. My father left the home when I was only 2 years old. My mother raised me and my 4 sisters the best she knew how. I was a mama's boy. Even as an adult man, I knew that I would always be her little boy. Being my mom's only son, I was always held to a higher standard. My mother taught me the value of being honest and always doing what is right. For many months after the accident, my mother, who I respected and loved dearly, had become distant. I knew that I had shattered not only her world, but her heart. I was ashamed of what I did. My mother had always had to be strong even when there were days I knew she wanted to give up, but she never did. How could I face my mother after what I'd done? The only hope I had to restore my relationship with my mother was through prayers that seemed to go unanswered. And I know it's by the grace of God that I can stand here today and thank God for answering my prayers. My mother has found it in her heart to forgive me and continues to love me despite my mistakes. Your Honor, I'm asking you that you please allow me to go home. Please have grace and mercy on me. To my merciful Father in your presence, I bring the deep hurts and emotional wounds that I have scarred on so many hearts. 1 Peter 5:7, give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you. Thank you for allowing me this time to share my heart.
Thank you. I guess I'll start by what I always say in cases like this, that nothing's going to bring back, your lives before July of 2022. Mr. Herta, nothing that I do, nothing that I say, neither side is going to be happy. That's just the nature of what my job is. And I have to look at what I think is fair based on what you did and your acceptance of responsibility. I'll start with the mitigators. There are a lot. And they're statutory, and they're right in your face, You've never been in trouble before. You have no criminal history. You spending any amount of time in the Department of Correction is going to be an undue hardship to your children. But you knew accepting this responsibility, and you chose to bring another child into the world, and I have to take that as it is. You have accepted responsibility. I do not blame you when you accepted the plea. I believe that you are genuinely remorseful, and I believe that you're willing to make restitution. However, I have to look at the aggravators in this situation too. This is not, as you put it, an accident. You were speeding. By your own admission, and I can't recall exactly how much you said you were drinking the night before, the morning of the accident. But in the PSI, you said you had one beer. I don't believe that. You didn't. You were a Marine. You were trained. And instead of, after you were speeding and caused the accident, you didn't help them. And the court finds that as an aggravator. You were only thinking of yourself and trying to get the trash and the empty bottles out of the car. You said before this you were drinking 2 to 4 vodkas a day, but conveniently on the day of this incident you said you had one beer. You shouldn't have been driving. You're in a government-issued vehicle, speeding. And once you hit them, you were only thinking of yourself. And I find that as an aggravator. I find that the harm was significant and greater. I do believe that that's an aggravator. One person died that night, and the other person, it took days. And it didn't just affect their children. It affected the students. It affected, and to have to make that decision to, after days of being on life support, that is something that is, and to have the grandparents have to uproot their lives and live here to take care of Mia when their parents should have been able to take care of her and the parents should have been able to get her to college, that does show that the harm is significant and greater. I believe that alcohol played a part of it, even if you don't. No one drives 78 in a 40 and doesn't even, when his car is pulling out, I saw the accident. You didn't even attempt to swerve or attempt to put on your brakes. And the fact that you called somebody to get rid of the evidence, that's appalling to the court. I find that each victim should have their own sentence. Court finds that the aggravators and your behavior after, what you've done since then, is remarkable. You are staying out of trouble. You are following the court's orders. You are abiding by the home detention. But I find that you weren't sorry at the time when you're calling somebody to get the alcohol out of the car. And that you were in the military and you knew better. And you were using a military vehicle and then tried to cover your tracks. So for those reasons, I'm finding that the aggravators outweigh the mitigators. The court is going to sentence you on each count. On count 1, court is going to sentence you to 5 years with 2 years suspended. 3 years will be in the Department of Corrections. One year will be on probation. During that year on probation, I have no problem if you move back to South Carolina You will be on an alcohol monitoring. I'm not taking your license. I don't believe that I can. But I am going to ensure that you are not going to be drinking. I am running, so for count 1, that's the reckless homicide, as a level 5 felony. It will be the 5-year sentence with 2 suspended and 1 year only on probation. You will also go through an alcohol evaluation and treatment. And maybe you've learned that you can't drink, but I think that it at least played a part in your actions that day, and especially your actions after the fact. Under count 2, court will sentence you to 5 years with 2 years executed, 3 years suspended, and 2 years probation. So I'm placing you longer on probation on count 2 because I want to ensure that you stay not drinking and that you give back to the community and that you reacclimate and that you be a father to your children. Those will be consecutive to each other, meaning one after the other. So you will have a 5-year DOC sentence, but you have a lot of credit. You have credit for 368 days plus 122, and I'll put that on count 1 for a total of 490. Followed by count 2, a 2-year executed sentence with 3 years suspended. So if you mess up on probation, you still have 5 years hanging over your head. And if you mess up on probation, I will send you back to the Department of Corrections. But I want you to get help. I want you to be able to move past this, and hopefully having this sentence will allow both sides to be able to move forward and move on as best they can. While the 2 years that you're suspended on probation, I want you to just go to a Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I just want you to see it and see what effect when people drink and drive that it has on people's lives. Because it's not just this family, it's countless others. And maybe while you're there, I'm going to have you do 20 hours of community service. I want you to give back to the community. And again, that first year on probation, you're going to be on an alcohol monitoring. Not one missed drop, not one drop of alcohol. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And I will approve a transfer to South Carolina where you live, so long as they accept him. I am remanding him into custody. He has a right to a... Never mind. And I am ordering restitution. The first amounts of any amount you pay will be toward restitution. $4,222.45 will be paid toward restitution, if you can get me that order. $4,222.45. And the probation fees will be standard, and I think he has to pay a transfer fee. I think it's $100 a month and $20 setup. All right, good luck to you. I hope not to see you back here, okay? Court cost is $189.50.
Judge, I do believe you have the right to appeal. Was that it was over?
All right. Bring him back out here.
Sorry, I was trying
No, I know. It's okay. I mean, sometimes they put it in the plea. I always tell them they have the right to appeal an open sentence, not the fact that he took the plea.
Right.
But it did say just the right to appeal the conviction. You have a right to appeal the sentence if you wish to, but not the conviction, okay?
In the end, the judge acknowledged both sides of this tragedy. She recognized the defendant's remorse, his military background, his lack of criminal history, and the impact prison would have on his family. But ultimately, the aggravating factors carried more weight. The excessive speed, the role alcohol appeared to play, the devastating loss of 2 lives, and especially the alleged attempt to remove evidence from the vehicle after the crash. The court handed down consecutive sentences, strict probation conditions, alcohol monitoring, treatment requirements, restitution, and community service tied to drunk driving awareness. This case is a painful reminder that a single reckless decision can destroy multiple families in seconds, and that what someone does immediately after a tragedy can dramatically affect how justice is delivered in court. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.